You're listening to Hello, Good Life, the podcast where we help you define what your good life means to you. We're diving into the nitty gritty of creating an intentionally good life that you love, from the good, the bad, to the downright ugly, and everything in between. Here's your host, Shay Rubsky.
Hi, friend. Welcome back to Hello, Good Life. Today, we're talking about goals, which, as you know, is one of my absolute favorite things in the world. But we're not just talking about any goals, we are diving into visionary goals. And I'm going to explain what it is. But for me, it feels like visionary goals are those goals that fit into your life. They inspire you and they also bring a little more calm to the chaos. And we all know that when you're running a business, when you have a career or when you have kids in all the activities, bringing more calm is a beautiful thing. Um so let's dive in. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about def- visionary goals, defining them, how to break them down. And then we're going to actually help you with some strategies to stay aligned and motivated with them. So let's talk about what it actually means to set a visionary goal before I dive into all of the meat and potatoes. I like to think about a visionary goal as not what's on your to do list. It's a goal that's going to give you direction and meaning. It's more about the life that you want to lead, the work that fills you with pride, the joy of creating memories with your family, your kids, your friends along the way. It's not about getting a certain number of clients or organizing every closet in the house. Though we have been on an organizing and decluttering kick, which, yes, good job, Shay. But that is not what this is about. We can have I will have on an organizing specialist on the podcast because that is not my zone of genius for the home. We live in chaos in our home and and I embrace that with all of my heart. But with visionary goals, it really is about aligning your vision and your values and essentially combining them together. And so when I hear goals, when I think of goals, I think about what everybody else wants for themselves essentially when they're teaching goals. So much of what we hear is like from other people's definitions of success. And that's exhausting, right? It's hard to tune out the noise and think about what we actually want because we're so busy hearing, seeing, scrolling and looking at all the other highlight reels from people and hearing their joy, their vision, whatever. And we're not really diving deep into what that vision or those goals or that success looks like to us. So, for example, for me, success is growing my business, building a successful business where I get to help other women grow, feel empowered, feel connected to themselves and their spouses and their children while creating an impact. But it also involves not losing that time with my family. For me, it's about feeling present and grounded every day. And so I want you to think about that as you're starting to put the pen to paper. Like, what does success look like to you? What does a visionary goal look like to you? And whatever that is, let it be yours and don't let anybody sway your decision for the way that you want to move forward. And so one of the things that I want you to do is actually let's just do it on this call, on this podcast right now. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, And I want you to imagine what your ideal work day is. Picture where you're working. Picture the people around you, even some of the sounds, some of the smells. What does your day look like? Is there coffee brewing? Are there kids laughing outside? I want you to really think about the details. Next, I want you to do the same thing for your home life. How does it feel when you walk into the door? If you work from home, how do you set yourself up for success each day so that you're focusing on getting what you need to get done done? Are you spending time with your family? Are you unwinding, allowing yourself time off of technology, allowing yourself to feel connected to yourself? And as you start to go through these visions and visualize some of the things that you see happening, this is going to bring your vision to life. And so, as you're feeling the feelings around this and seeing what you're seeing, this is your vision. These are your goals. Your goals should lead you closer to this picture. And if they don't, then it's time to make a big shift. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share a super simple visualization exercise. You can opt in for that below. And I'm going to walk you through this when you have time. It won't be more than 5 to 10 minutes, but I really want you to feel into it and do the work. So many of us are so afraid to feel our feelings because for the majority of people, it's what we were taught. I had to undo all of that, but it got me closer to my goal and to manifesting the things that I want to manifest because I have a clear vision in my life after I allowed myself to feel through the feelings and be in that emotion, so I can get closer to my vision. Okay, so now let us go into more of what breaking down the goals are and the strategies to stay aligned. So, one of the things that I think about when I think about big goals, big dreams, is I know that they're great. They feel great. But one thing we don't really necessarily think about with our goals is when we have a busy life full of school runs, sports scheduling, dinner plans, client meetings, all the things that we have going on, and we want to bite off more than we can chew. And that's the big issue when it comes to creating these visionary goals and then breaking it down. Sometimes you can't take a big ass bite. Sometimes it has to be bite sized for your goals. And this is where the structure comes in. For example, think of one big goal for your year, something that's going to make you feel really accomplished. And then as you're thinking about that, I would also think about 2 or 3 smaller mini goals that you can focus on each quarter. These are those bite-sized goals, the mini goals. They're your stepping stones. So let me give you an example. Maybe your big goal is to launch a new program or product line by the end of the year. Your first mini goal could be, hey, I'm going to map out that product in the first quarter. And then in the second quarter, I'm going to design and source the materials or the knowledge. If it's a program, I'm going to start recording the videos, the training. And then I'm going to build out the marketing plan in the third quarter. So design and sourcing the materials could be the second quarter. And then in the third quarter, it's putting together that marketing plan. And then in the fourth quarter, it's really implementing that marketing plan. So as you're starting to look at your visionary goals, because this one is a slower moving piece, I prioritize my family life, my personal life. It might look like with this particular goal, blocking off one weekend a month for family only time so that I know that I'm waking up on a Saturday morning and I've been guilty of this, jumping on my computer to do client work or to write a blog. And so knowing that I have at least that one full family weekend a month of just me hanging out with the fam as much as we can. Obviously, we can't control kid activities and we're not going to have them miss practices or things like that. But saying, okay, the majority of this weekend is going to be spent together as a family because we have set that aside. And then the other weekends, yes, we might have family time, but then some of my priority is building out this piece of the product or program that I am building out. Let me know if that makes sense. I would love for you to comment below and just let me know how this feels to you. I know it can be a little overwhelming, but give yourself the grace to push through it. Another thing that I really think about as I was just mentioning, hey, sometimes it might be on a weekend where I am opening up my computer and maybe mapping out some of the marketing or checking client work or writing an article. But it's also about flexibility. That's where the magic is. If something changes, it's okay to adjust. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's never going to be 100% a part of the plan. We all live these incredible, unique lives, and our goals are also unique. And so we need to embrace the flexibility, hey, do you want to go out to dinner with me on a weekend or a weeknight from a friend or a spouse, or having date nights with the kids when they come up because your child needs extra attention? It's really just giving yourself that ability to be flexible, to recognize that you're not failing. You need to shift things around, and that's just real life. And you can give yourself the grace of doing that. So, my next actionable item for you is really take that time. I would set a timer for 15 minutes, and I would give yourself the one big goal for the year and a few mini goals for each quarter from that big goal, because then it's going to make it more realistic for you. And then it's going to give you the ability to see what you need to get done. Another example that is a non-business related example. Say you want to lose 30 pounds in the year. So then you know that there are 12 months. You can divide that by 3. So for the first 4 months, you're going to focus on the first 10 pounds. And maybe it's focusing on building the habit of working out again. And maybe the second 4 months is going to be, hey, now I'm going to focus on my food. And I'm going to focus on really getting the protein that I need, getting the healthy carbs that I need, getting in the healthy fats that I need so that I'm building out the good nutrients in my body. And then maybe that final 4 months to get to the next 10 pounds lost, the final 10 pounds is focusing on toning, focusing on increasing your weight, focusing on bringing in more of those healthy nutrients because you've built in these habits with these mini goals. So it's going to make sticking to them easier. And again, remember, things might change. Goals should be adaptable. You should be able to be flexible without feeling overwhelmed and guilt, to give yourself the grace to do that. Once you do this, I would absolutely love to hear what your goal is. Share it with me. I am more than happy to hold you accountable, more than happy to help you see that you can hit that goal if you want. Now that we've talked about how you can break the goal down so it's in a bite-sized piece to make it easier, next we're going to talk about how you can stay essentially aligned and motivated. The two things that I think are huge when it comes to essentially continuing the motivation is tracking your progress and celebrating wins. They are the most simplest ways to stay aligned with your goals. Tracking your progress and then celebrating every little win along the way. I know it might sound like another thing to do, but when you're checking in with yourself, when you're feeling into your feelings, even if it's just for a couple minutes a day, even if it's just jotting down a sentence in a journal or in a notepad on your phone, it keeps your goals top of mind and it also helps you see how far you've come. Plus, those little victories are gold when times get rough. When I was focused on weight loss, and I just remember having the little goals made my heart so happy. I was giving myself high fives, I was rocking it. But then when I stopped tracking, when I stopped celebrating those little wins, I became a hot mess express. Like, honestly, I don't need to be doing that. And so I recognize that what I track amplifies. So if I'm tracking my success, if I'm tracking what's working, if I'm seeing something isn't working, guess what? Now I can go adjust it so I'm not sitting in my sorrow because that's a sad place to be. Um, and I'm really able to move into the success piece. And like, this is one of the things for holding yourself accountable is that sometimes you need that little extra push. Sometimes journaling around what you ate and how you felt, you start to get ahas. There was a day where I was eating ice cream. It wasn't even that I wanted ice cream. I was just emotional eating because I'd had just a crappy day. And then I recognized after I enjoyed the delicious vanilla bean ice cream, because that's one of my favorites, then I sat down and I actually sat with the journal and I got mad at myself because I'm like, why didn't I journal first and really see why I was in this emotion and why I was feeling the way that I was feeling? And it really hit different because I'm thinking, wow, Shay, you're stronger than you think in the sense that you're more aware than you think because you were able to recognize and journal and then articulate and review that. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I chose this because I did not give myself time to decompress and I wanted to just give everybody the middle finger. Like, let's call a spade a spade." It was just one of those days where nothing was going right and I was having a day. And you get permission to have those days. So, like, do not think that you do not, because you do. I have those days. Everybody has those days, and you get to. But being aware after the fact, it helped me move forward to think about things differently as I was moving forward, if that makes sense. And recognizing that I was all up in the emotion and the angst and the anxiety instead of saying, "Hey, let me detach from this and look at it differently," and maybe I would have made a different decision. So, I would absolutely love for you to maybe find an accountability partner or journal. Like, at the end of the day, write a few sentences. You don't need to spend an hour doing it. I think I spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes a night journaling around my feelings, my goals, my gratitude, and you essentially get it all out so that you are feeling the freshness and the newness and not holding on to the excess energy, but also being able to be accountable. I know that was a long tangent. I really do think journaling is so good for you, even if you hate journaling. Um, Even if it's just, like I said, writing a couple sentences and getting that observation and awareness of what's going through your head is so huge. Um, I want to talk about one final thing before I close out this call. I really want to talk about the mindset, which is perfect around what I was talking about just before. Um, and I want to reiterate giving yourself grace. Life is always evolving. There are going to be things thrown at us that we will not be able to handle immediately. There are going to be things that we're going to be thrown curveballs here and there, especially when we're balancing motherhood with big dreams and big goals and this beautiful life. Your journey matters just as much as the end result. And I feel like so many of us focus on just the finish and not on that messy middle where you're having the laughs, you're growing, you're feeling the connection, and you're feeling just not even feeling, seeing how strong you are. So, really think about the journey, really be in the journey as you're doing this, and you're going to go far. And remember, it's going to be 100% okay that your goals look different from others. If you're moving forward in a way that feels right for you, guess what? You're on the right track. Your mindset is key. This process is not about perfection. It's about creating a life that fills you up and also giving the people in your life that permission to do the same exact thing. So do not be afraid to make any tweaks, adjustments, and really grow from this. I promise you've got this. Okay, that is a wrap. I know you're meant to do amazing things, even on the dates where you want to sit and watch all the cozy movies. You're still meant for great things. Keep pushing yourself forward. Remember why you started. This is your vision, honey. You are absolutely capable of achieving it. And I believe in you. It's time for you to believe in you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I am so happy that you are here, and I cannot wait to see the success that you create in your life. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Hello, Good Life. To connect more with us, check out soulfueledlife.com.